Hello there, and welcome to yet another episode of my Car Mechanic 2021 series. Uh, we're on the next car in the Chrysler Dodge Plymouth DLC. In this case, we are working on the Dodge Viper GTS, and you can see it's in okay shape. It's missing a few parts here and there, but uh, mostly intact. Yeah, got a nice peppy little V10. Yeah, we're gonna be having fun with this car today. I can already tell. Actually, let's go ahead and get the frame done first. Then we can start pulling the rest of the parts off. Alright, get rid of that. Then we'll get rid of all this. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was like a body window there. No, it doesn't look like it. Appears to be missing a good chunk of the back too. Alright. Okay. I'll be able to fix up a few of these at least. Go here, and we're going to sort by condition. Okay. Alrighty. Let's get the stuff that we don't want out of here. Good. Go ahead and order the first round of parts. And there's our first headlight and tail light. Our new windshield. Front right door. That's your other headlight. And the other taillight. Alright, we'll go ahead and put in what we've got, and then we'll order whatever's missing. Cleaned up, that doesn't look too bad, but I still think I'm going to change the color. I believe that's it. Oh, nope, right mirror. Okay, so we did have the mirror. It's cleared there, so let's order the remaining missing parts. Thankfully, it doesn't look to be that many. A new trunk. Front left door. Let's see, might as well go ahead and get the left side mirror. Trunk window. Engine cover, you say. Okay, let's get this all put together and then we'll figure that out. I think we've got one extra part we needed to fix and didn't pull. Right. Front left window, there we go. Okay. Put her up. engine cover, aka the cross bracing. Yeah, that gives you an idea how strong a car we're dealing with when they have to have something like that in there to stiffen the setup there. Okay, let's go over to, hang on, before we do that, license plate in the front. Nope, just looks like we have one in the back. It's not going to say 100% for the body until we get that custom plate. Let's see. Yep, I went too far, didn't I? Yep. I have an idea I want to do this, and this is only going to... There might be some people on YouTube that get this, some that might not. Especially once we put the right color on it and everything. This is not sponsored. This is just like off the top of my head. Nope. Yeah, come on. I was trying to put Leto's Law in there, but I can't fit all the lettering in there. I'll just do that and just... Hopefully some people will get the reference there. Even if they don't, go look him up on YouTube. He is a lawyer and goes over a lot of cases that are in the news and gives his little informed opinion about that. It covers a lot of topical stuff. We're already in assembly mode, so should be able to just pop that right on. So, yeah, body and frame are now 100%. Looks like we are missing a few tires. We'll want to check the suspension. I know I did some poking around before the recording started, and we are missing the drive shaft, which we'll get to soon enough. Let's see. Let's take care of the interior before we do anything else. Because if I don't take care of it now, I'll probably forget about it till a lot further along in the process. Go to disassembly mode. Pull those out. Oh, we're gonna back up. Since we already marked them and they're not fixable, go ahead and get rid of them. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. Go away. Forgot to take the cross bracing, aka the engine cover, off. Messed myself up here. So we got the steering wheel. We need to get the two front seats. Well, there's no back seats, so technically just seats. All right. Sorry, being a little pedantic about that, but it's going to look much better once we get the new coat of paint on it. And yes, we're painting it red. Part of the reason why I put that license plate on there is because I have an idea what color I want to make this car. Might make it just a smidge shinier, but yeah, we're not gonna leave it in like two different colors. Although that two-tone look, if we could do it consistently on there, would actually kind of could fit. Get this thing higher up in the air. Got to get the tires off anyway. I want to see what's missing. Looks like the brakes are missing. Everything else looks to be in order. Well, except for half the parts are missing. That once I, yeah. Okay, I got the suspension arm and its necessary parts. You need all rubber bushing, regular rubber bushing, and that rear suspension arm. Suspension upper arm, so we did get that. Okay. Yeah, we're missing more than a few parts. Let's go buy some stuff. Okay, 3 small rubber bushings. Suspension arm. Okay, we've got a rear shock. 1 large rubber bushing. Let's see. For suspension arm. And a brake pad. Set of brake pads. Now we do need, before we get any further, caliper. We need 1 of each. That should satisfy everything on this side of the suspension. Oh, I forgot the rear shock cap. I just happened to see it light up. Damn it. Alright, we'll fix that too. We got this. In fact, let's go ahead and grab that. There we go. Much better. And we're, I don't even know why I tried to put a tire on there. We don't have it yet. We'll get to it here in a minute. I gotta get those 2 out the front, get them apart, and then we'll start working our way around to the tire portion. So yeah, looks like he's got brake pads, or caliper and brake pads, so that part's good. All rubber bushing, big rubber bushing, and that, and then there. Get the shock absorber. Yes, we did. Okay, so it's missing almost the same parts, except this one's rear spring area, the cap and the spring and the cap there are all missing. We'll get to those. In fact, let's just go ahead and buy another one of these. And rear spring. There we go. Everything else will be on the list. Let's get going. Doesn't hurt us buying this stuff now. In fact, if anything, it saves us some buying we have to do later. You know? Good thing. Here's our spring cap. Go ahead and mark that drive shaft. As soon as we get all this put back on, we'll get that drive shaft so we have that ready to go for after we do the suspension rebuild. Oh, we're missing that on the other side too? No, we're not. Okay, we do need to put that on, however. That got. I think you take a regular bushing, so we'll just go ahead and get that in addition to everything else. Suspension arm, and then Good to go. Let's throw you on. And looky there. It takes a regular bushing. Okay, now she looks complete. At least complete enough to let us continue. I got the drive shaft purchased. Your tire sizes look like. Of course. Let's see. Are you gonna... We want to do that. Oh, we just do that. And then... do that. That works. That actually works pretty darn well. Okay, let's go ahead and get this one off here, and then we'll get the one up front. We got lucky with the last two cars that were using the same, you know, size tires front and back. But not surprised this one, given what kind of power this thing can muster, you know, under the right control of the correct driver. These things can, yeah, they can haul ass. In fact, I think we're going to have fun with the speed track on this one, and this time I'm not kidding. Right, so let's get those two tires we do have. Let's get those torn apart. We'll be able to fix the rims up, but we're going to replace the tires. There ain't no fixing those. Alright, let's see if we can recover the rims. Let's see. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now, we need to go to the rim shop. Sounds dirty, but it isn't. We need two of these in a 19-inch, if you please. Now we should be good on those. So two 18s and two 19s. Right? Right. Okay. So... nope, that's not where I wanted either. Okay, so we've got just the tires on there. Alright. Let's get this done. So the first one is 355.30. Two. That's 355.30 R19. 355.30 R19. So those are verified. So let's go ahead and go here and get rid of those. And we need 295.30. So we need two of those. Verify that against the one previous tire we had, which was the 295.30 R18. Looks like the numbers match up. 355.30 R19. Let's double check that. 355.30 R19. So yeah. Looks like we're good on both the front and the back tires. So let's get those thrown back together. We'll get them balanced and then we'll put them back on the car. And it's going to be off to paint. Okay, there's number 2. Three. And number 4. Okay, put these on, and then we're gonna make sure we get them on the right way. Because if you just blindly click through here, sometimes it picks the wrong tire to start out with. Okay, one more. We're going to leave the drive shaft off, like I said earlier. I want to redo the front and back suspension later on in the video. And there's no sense putting that on. We'll have to take it right off to do that. So let's get this on its own feet and make sure it sits correctly. I'm happy with it. Alright. Let's go to the paint booth. Yeah, chrome's too shiny. I'll be honest, that chameleon paint doesn't look half bad on it. Never really done a car with chameleon paint before. Okay, I like this, but I want to see if there's any liveries. Alright, there we go. Doesn't look too bad. We had black. Have a dark gray, which I actually kind of dig those. A little more subtle. Like a red. Have a darker red. The white. That doesn't look bad either. Yeah, I'm thinking this'll do quite nicely. I was going to do the more orangish color, but then it would look too much like the paint job we did on the Charger. All right, man, she's already looking pretty spiff here. Let's get her back in the bay. I think it looks good. I wouldn't be remotely able to afford one of these, because God knows what they go for on the secondary market now. I guarantee it's a lot more than I'm willing to pay. Okay, so there's I guess there's going to be kind of a few things we got to do. First thing, what I should have done when I had this up in the air earlier is take the oil and pop this back down, drain the rest of the fluids, get the cross bracing, aka the engine cover, off. Actually, while we got it up there too, we might want to grab the gearbox. Probably a good idea. It's not fresh oil, but at guess there's plenty of whatever was in there. Alright. That's a good sized meat, I almost said good sized meatball, did that too, but good sized oil panel in there. Alright, let's see if we could do this right here. Pop that off. And that off. That should be the extent of the exhaust. Given the kind of intake it's got on there, we'll probably have to pull part of that too. Let me get the cherry picker in place. There we go. And it'll still work even though it's in the way. Magic. So let's that off first. Assuming I'm gonna okay, the throttle's there, so I think I wanna see what the error message is. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be it's gonna complain about the air cover. Or air filter base. Back up there, Chief. Why the base? Oh, because it's like almost sitting on the engine. Okay. Okay. Yank. If only it were that easy in real life. I mean, as big as the engine is compared to the car, it's almost kind of reminds me of like the joke that people would make about like the A-10 Warthog, you know, the ground attack plane that been around for decades. And they basically, there's this long-running joke, still is, because it's still in service, that they essentially built the plane around a gun instead of the other way around. Yeah. I've always wanted to ride in one of these, but I don't have any friends that are into those kind of cars. They're usually, a lot of them do the cars and coffee thing on the weekends, but they do like either really old classic cars or a lot of them take their Subarus, their completely pimped out Subarus with the fancy aftermarket add-ons and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just do some preemptive stuff here. I'm going to mark that and that and that because those are all going to get replaced with performance equivalents. We're going to try to fix the rest because I doubt there's a performance air filter or air filter base. There is, I'd be rather surprised by that. Okay, so it's not going to let us fix those anyway. The engine we'll deal with here in a minute. I just want to get these other two ready because once we get the engine torn apart and rebuilt with all performance parts that we can cram in there, we're going to want to have the rest of that stuff ready to be able to drop back in there as soon as we get the engine put back in the car. So, figure we do that stuff now, save us the trouble of having to do it later. Did we got the air filter, front exhaust sections, but we didn't add these two. So I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to fix them, and it turns out the answer is a pretty solid no. Alright. So filter cover. Filter base. And the rest of this is all coming out of the tune-up shop. Alright, looking good. So let's get that engine on the stand. Oof. Look at that absolute unit. So yeah, we're gonna give this one the standard treatment. We've dealt with one of these before, kind of. We worked on the in-game version of this in the previous episode. I can't remember the in-game equivalent name, but it's there. Trust me. I think I even have it listed in the comment or in the description. But yeah, we've technically dealt with this car before, but not specifically by name. I realized I didn't drain the rest of the fluids, but right, we'll get to that. Surprised I didn't complain about that when I yanked the engine out. Weird. Alright, let's continue. Well, like I said, we'll worry about it when we get to the engine. Or when we get to putting the engine back in. That game should have complained about that, because in real life, if we just severed the connection with like the cooling system, we'd have had coolant everywhere. And yeah, depending upon if this thing had, yeah, see, there's power steering pump. Being that the power steering is not electric, we would have unhooked the hoses for that and would have caused a big problem too. Okay, game logic. Not the end of the world, but my gosh, we can see it from here. I mean, I know this game is a simulator, but it's not like 100% simulator. Much like American Truck Sim or Euro Truck Sim isn't 100% simulator. It'd be like far too fiddly for people to play if it were like a true to life simulator. And both this and the other games that I mentioned. Try to get people to remember like torque specs for stuff and be able to. Thank God we don't have to order the. Oh dear, that's a lot of bolts. We don't have to order all the replacement bolts for everything. Be like, did I need a 15/16 or did I need a 10mm or? Are you? Oh, let's say, what the heck are you hung up on? Where are you having fits? Oh, you got to take the wires off first. Oh, I see. I see. That's an interesting way to do the ignition coils. We get to take off the individual rocker arms. Alright, this one's going to be... There we go. That wasn't too bad. That's the nice thing about the rusty bolts in this game. They only slow you down a little bit. Thankfully, you're not sitting there for 15 minutes watching your character reef on it with a socket wrench and eventually heat and beat and all that stuff. This game would actually be kind of frustrating if you had to do that. Not gonna lie. Everything off the front and back, so pretty much all we got left is the pistons and these little guys. Oh, and almost forgot the spark plugs. That would have been awkward. I got them on the other side, but not this one. Alright, good to go. Let's kind of work our way down each side, and we'll pop the heads off, and then we'll take care of the pistons. Just like always. Got a lot of rusted bolts on the rocker arms. Okay, now we can get the engine head off. Let's take a look. I think we just got just the one rusty bolt. The others appear to be fine. Got lucky there. Alright, let's take a look at the other side here. Yeah, the totally legally distinct, not WD-40. They literally just switched the numbers and the letters, and WD-40's like, yeah, that's fine. Even though I'm pretty sure if they'd have, again, I don't know the situation, but one would assume that given that the stuff's being used in a positive sense, and you're not using it for, like, I don't know, nefarious stuff, I would think they wouldn't have had much of an issue saying, oh yeah, totally, just use our name, just make sure you don't, stuff's used properly. Because it's kind of become like a household thing, like, you know, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to grab a facial tissue, I'm going to say, I grabbed a Kleenex, even if it's a different brand. You know, it's like, instead of saying, I'm going to get the can of, you know, random, you know, displacement stuff that'll, you know, well, basically random penetrant, which sounds, again, dirty, but it ain't. You say, no, I'm going to go grab the WD-40. I know there's plenty of others out there that do similar jobs, but I grew up in a household with someone who was, you know, self-proclaimed mechanic that swore by using WD-40 for just about everything. And when I got started with, you know, going to like ranges and stuff and actually having, you know, a firearms collection, I know it's going to sound kind of, I know the experts out there watching, I doubt they ever watch this stuff, but anybody who's like a firearms expert probably said, you did what? I was like, yeah, use WD-40 to clean and lube, even though it's not a lubricant. But, you know, it's one of those things that when you're just starting and the person's trying to teach you the basics, it's a starting point. You learn quickly afterwards that you're supposed to use something else, but, you know, like rim oil or something. But, yeah. You know, you're learning, you know. Good for cleaning, at least. Alright, so like I said, we're going to keep the crankshaft and the engine block. We're going to fix them up to 100% condition, slap them on the on the engine stand, almost at cherry picker. We're going to put it on the engine stand, and then we're going to build with all new parts on the outside with as many performance parts as we can get. Oh, pardon me. Alright, all nice and cleaned up, ready for parts. Let's get rid of everything else that we don't want. Cool. Let's dig in. Got fuel filter, flywheel. We actually got the systems Conrad 10 flue. Okay, I just want to make sure. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Need 4 crankshaft bearing caps. Okay, definitely need that camshaft. We're gonna need piston rings and rod caps, but I'll get those after we get everything else. Nope, and we're back clean out. I just wanted to go here. Yep, we're already in the tuning shop. Go ahead and get the stuff we can from here. Good. Let's see, pistons with connecting rod. Got you. And camshaft. Crankshaft bearing caps are standard parts, so we'll just go over here and grab those real quick. And we need... I'm just going to grab the standard ones, because I think this should be what we need. If it ends up not being what we need, I can always get the correct ones. Not the end of the world if we get it wrong. Just slows this down a little bit, that's all. All good. Alright. Drop you in. Filter in. Put in a camshaft. Good, good, good. I'm gonna get the crankshaft bearing caps in first so we secure that. And there we go. Okay. So now, oh good, I guessed correctly on that. We're just gonna slowly work our way up the middle again. One piece by piece. I'm really looking forward to doing the dyno run on this because I want to see what kind of horsepower boost we're going to give this thing. Because these are already peppy little numbers from the factory. Even if you don't do anything to them, they're still... Let's put it this way, it'll throw you back in the seat. Even without modifications. Speed track one part of this video should be fun too. At least I hope it will. Okay, we've got one more. All right. That's everything from that round. So we need engine head A, engine head B, clutch plate and oil pan. Looks like cam gear. And I think we're just going to go with that. The clutch plate. And standard. So I've got engine head B. And engine head A. Wink. Alright, oil pan and cam gear. Pan on first so we can right the engine. Make it a little easier to work on the rest of this. And boom. Just like that. looks like that's it for that round. So yeah, let's create our next order list. We got massive intake manifold. Looks like we got a couple of fuel rails. Just get that to light up. There we go. We're gonna need 20 of these. Exhaust manifold there, an exhaust manifold there, and a timing chain. We get the pressure plate. We did not. All right. Now we do. Performance parts first. Brand new aftermarket intake manifold. Two fancy fuel rails. Push rods are standard parts. We need 2 exhaust manifolds. Good to go. Timing chain standard. So we got pressure plate. Over here. Need 20 push rods. 2 for each cylinder. For very obvious reasons. Intake and exhaust. Think might even be one for specific for this vehicle. Yep, V10 Viper. I mean, if this is the wrong one, I'd be very surprised. It literally says on the part, and it's the only one out of this whole bunch that's marked that way. Oh, and we forgot to do the spark plugs. Hang on. Easy fix. Bam. Just like that. Okay. Throw those in before we forget again. Might as well throw that on too while we're here. Here. Throw the fuel rail on. Come on, focus. And working our way down one side, and then we'll do the same to the other here in a minute. I know some people like the ASMR on that, you know, just literally just doing it like a putting those bolts back on like it's a zipper. One like flush movement there. That kind of. The last of these rocker arms and push rods installed, and we can move on. Come on, camera. Sometimes you gotta fight the camera to get the angle you want. Almost there. You know, what's amazing is like they actually took the engine out of one of these and turned it into a motorcycle. And it's just absolutely bonkers. I don't think it ever got... I don't know if it ever got to production or not. I don't think it did. I think it was more of a concept vehicle. But either way, I mean... These engines, even like I said, even from the factory, put out a ridiculous amount of power. Oh, we almost forgot the timing chain. There we go. Ready for the head covers. Got the throttles and massive timing cover. But yeah, there are concept photos if you guys want to go look those up on your own time. But then again, never underestimate the engineering power of people with money. I mean, I've seen people throw V8s into PT Cruisers and get it to work somehow. I mean, it's just like one of those things where you look at it and you're like, right, but why? That's the $1,000,000 question on a lot of that is like, sure, it's possible, but why? The rest of this should be standard parts. And got your first head cover, second head cover, go, and timing cover for the front. The one I thought was kind of cool was there was somebody, I can't remember if it was at SEMA or not, but somebody took a PT Cruiser and cut the body up, because it's basically a wagon in some states. But they took like everything from behind the middle pillar, like that's right behind the driver's seat and the passenger seat in the front, cut it down, put a window there, and then made the back part into like a mini truck bed. So the thing looked like a really tiny pickup truck. And you know what? I didn't hate the design. Sure, it looked goofy, but I didn't hate it. I mean, PT Cruisers weren't the best car in the world in the first place, but they essentially made like a super compact truck, more or less. You couldn't do much with it. But, I mean, I guarantee you that people would still drive it. And shit, I probably would have drove it. Then again, I'm not super picky on my vehicles. Not as picky as some of my gearhead friends, but still. Okay, it looks like we got everything from that round, so let's move on. We've got 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 10 of those coils. Those are probably going to be aftermarket. Got filter, pulley, power steering pump, roller, water pump, another roller, and our alternator. Okay. Over to the tune-up shop, and we're going to get 10 of these. And let's see what alternator, our steering pump. Okay, rest of that looks to be standard parts, although there is one other thing I want to get. V10. I have a feeling as soon as we put these on that we're going to need the ignition wire. But let's get the front of this taken care of first. Wait, did I not? Oh, I didn't go to the... Son of a biscuit. Alright. I got ahead of myself here. 1 second. I was so obsessed with trying to get the wires there. I completely spaced getting the stuff that was in the regular parts shop. We're all good to go now, though. Okay. Crankshaft pulley on there. Okay, so you need... I'll take care of you later. I want to get these on there. Good. Okay, looks like we're almost done. Finishing touches on everything. Looks like everything's there, so do cover A and cover B. Looks like we've got another pulley. I think that's it. We got all the stuff in the back. Yep. Okay. Those, just in case you forgot what you're driving, it's badged, you know, accordingly. Yeah. They do that in a lot of these fancy vehicles. They're like, just in case you forgot what you were driving, we're gonna put the name of the car or the brand of the car everywhere as we can. I think that's it. Not seeing any grayed out parts. Everything looks like it's where it should be. Very pretty. Look at that. The work of art, man. Alright, let's get you off the engine stand. Throw you back from whence you came. One thing we gotta do before we get anywhere else today. We should have done a little bit ago. And drain everything. Oh, it's got a dual reservoir. Nice. Good thing I saw that. Okay. Just wonder where they hid the brake servo. It's all the way over there. Okay, now everything's safe to disassemble. I get you? Yes, I did. Okay. Just double checking. Alright. You, have you, and you. And with the fan housing, radiator, backup reservoir. Not backup, but secondary. Alright, come on out. should be everything out of here. Now, before we go fix this stuff up, let's go throw some stuff back on underneath, like the gearbox and the starter, and the replacement exhaust parts that we took off. Alright. So, actually I could probably put the cross brace back on. I don't think that's gonna get in anything's way there. Or maybe it will. Never mind. Yep, I want to close that. Oh, wait. That gonna get in the way of filling the oil? No, it won't. Okay, good. Good to know. I know the battery's in the trunk, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Once we get all the stuff in the engine compartment taken care of, we'll mosey on back there. Alright, so we already sort by condition. And rather predictably, the usual suspects aren't the ones that are getting fixed. So let's go ahead and mark all of those. And then sell them. We're going to replace them all. And let's get the non-electronic stuff first. Man, beach is already starting to go. That's not a good sign. Anyway, let's see. Power steering reservoir. Got you. Washer reservoir. You're good. And reservoir. Got you. Both parts. Right. Over to electronics, where we're going to get, let's see, 2 fuse type A's. Three fuse type B's. 5 relay type C's. Fuse type C, just 1. Brand new ECU, gimme. And 3 relay type B's. And get that filter in. We might as well just go ahead and do the rest of it. 8.4 liter. That's a big bitch. Here I was thinking my 5.3 liter V8 that I got in my Silverado was huge. I mean it is, but at least compared to my other car, which is a 1.5 inline 4. Even with a turbo, it doesn't even come close. You'd have to basically bolt 2 of those engines two of those engines together in order to get anything close to the horsepower my truck gets. But by the same token, that car also gets a hell of a lot better fuel mileage, almost double, in fact. Alright. Back here, all we got left is the drive shaft. So, let's start putting in fluids, shall we? Okay. It'll take a lot of oil. And we're going to deliberately overfill this one. This is because of how the game considers the power steering to be full, even though it's not. There we go. Okay, that one had me stop early. That's interesting. Okay, I think that's everybody. Let's take care of that battery. While we're here, well, go ahead and grab that. Grab the rest of the exhaust. Okay, so we replaced that part on both sides, so it looks like got the muffler and exhaust tip on each side. Cool. Yeah, the battery we can fix up. Plus it's in like total garbage shape. Usually you can recondition it and it'll be good as new. Rest of this, on the other hand, is all going to get bought brand new. Go over to the tune-up shop and buy everything but the fuel tank. Oh, there we go. Oakley dokley. In there. Neat. Okay, so everything in the engine compartment's done, the battery's done, the fuel system and exhaust are done. That should leave us with very little left to do. In fact, it's 90% part condition already, so we're almost there. I mean, we could sell it right now, but then we'd be falling short of our mandate, a self-imposed one, but still a mandate. We're going to pull the front and rear suspension out. We're going to fix what we can, replace what we can't. That way we get this car up to 100% condition, as good or better than the way it was when it rolled off the assembly line. Alright, let's start right here since we're already staring directly at the front suspension. Give me your bearing, thank you. Sometimes you don't hold it on there just right, the game's like, oh, did you mean this part behind it? No. I want the bearing. Get these bushings out before we take the cross member. I don't forget those. See? The bushing. Thank you. Come on, gimme. Thank you. Sometimes these rusty bolts on there can be a little annoying. But it would be unrealistic if we didn't have any on the car. Especially in the condition it was in when it was dragged into the garage. Alright, let's grab the rest of this. I think that's everything off the front, so let's hop on back over here and do the same for the rear suspension, which we spent a little bit of time fixing earlier in the recording. I like to try to get, especially if I'm going to be taking it over to the paint booth, I like to try to get the car rolling on its own before taking it over there. Kind of a habit I've had since early on in the series. Alright. Do the same here for the other side. Come on out. There you go. Not yet. Not yet. Here we go. Come on out. Don't be shy. There you go. I'll go ahead and get the rest of these bushings out. Oh, I was gonna say, what is your major malfunction? I realized I forgot to take the key suspension part out to let me get the steering knuckle, or the, you know what I meant. Alright, so that's everybody. Let's get the assemblies torn apart. Okay, good to go there. I'm gonna resurface the, or redo the brake discs, get them all cleaned up. Okay, there's number 2. Number 3. I mean, I know it's just as easy to replace them outright, but I bought the dang tool as part of the leveling up I was doing during the early days of playing this game, and I was like, well, I got the tool, might as well use it. And number 4. We're still going to have certain wear items, like bushings and the brake pads and, you know, a handful of others that, you know, refuse to be fixed. And also the stuff that comprises the shock assemblies, they don't tend to be fixable either, or repairable in any fashion. Alright, so I'm going to go into focus mode here, so if I don't say much, that's probably why. The minigame's not hard, it's just when you're doing it a lot and you're half awake like I am, you need all the spare single cell brain capacity you can get, or something. Oh, missed it. That's alright. At least it didn't count against us. Almost done. Cool. I should have gotten us most of the way there. Let's take a peek and see where we ended up. Yeah, some of these are 100%, but that's not because we fixed them. Those are the ones we used to get the vehicle on its own feet again. Okay, so we got 3 solid pages of parts that are all 100%. That's good. Yeah, we still got quite a few, but yeah, it could be worse. Okay. Sell the stuff we couldn't fix, because we're going to be end up replacing it all. And, yeah, let's go. Let's start buying stuff. Okay, 3 sets of brake pads. 17 rubber bushings. Wow. That's a lot. Okay. Inner tie rods, good to go. Sway bar front end links. 2 front springs. 2 rear end links. 4 new bearings. Couple of front shock caps. Double wishbone. Shock absorbers. Good to go. Okay, a couple of wheel hub caps. There's our outer tie rods. And 2 small rubber bushings. Rear sway bar. And a complementary one up front. And a rear spring. These assemblies put together and then we'll pair right into it. Okay. Last of these rubber bushings on the rear axle. And get to it. Get all this slapped back together here, and then we can do the same to the front, and it's off to the alignment rack. And get that bushing installed. Get in there. There we go. And we're going to make sure we get the correct tire on there. So we want the 355. Alright, quick check here, make sure everything looks right. Come on. Focus game. Like everything's good to go there. Almost there. Okay, once again, making sure we put on the correct tire. as one freshly rebuilt rear suspension. Let's get the front taken care of and we'll be good to go. Start putting the rest of this in. I like to try to get the preliminaries in the center done and then work on one side or the other. Easier that way for me. Okay. Okie dokie. Everything looks right. Looks like it does. Anything's missing? Let's move over here. We'll finish this restoration. Or the game will send me to a random location like it just did. But you gotta be careful when clicking around in the car, because sometimes it'll send you off in a direction you don't wish to go. Okay, inventory is empty. Check our handiwork here. Everything looks good. Check the car. And everything's at 100%. We did it. Group effort. Alright. Get her over to the alignment rack. We'll get the lights and the wheels straightened out. Wheels next. Only it were that easy to do this in real life. I've been told trying to align the wheels is a bit of a pain in the ass, even for people who do it all the time. That's pretty. Okay. So now, take it over to the dyno room. Take a look at our handiwork here. So already we have 645 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque. That's before we even touch the car. Let's see where we end up. Listen to that. $1,121 horsepower, 476 gain of 74%. That's damn. 1,025 pound-feet of torque, gain of 425, so 71% increase there. Damn. With the right tuning, this thing could be a drag race monster. Which we're not going to do the tuning. We're just going to take it on the speed track. Actually, we're going to do some pictures first and then the speed track. I wish you could crouch when doing pictures because I want to get like a close-up angle of this thing. You know, from like the same height as the front of the car. There we go. Most of you will probably already see the first picture is a thumbnail. Yeah. So yeah. Where we got it from. Oh boy. Man, look at the interior on this thing. It's even got cup holders. Hot damn. Got a place to plug my phone in. Got a nice manual shifter on it. Typical Dodge radio. Very minimalist, but not a bad thing. Just saying they're consistent. Oh look, it's even got a no shit handle built into the side for the passenger. Nice. Alright, let's head off to the speed track. If you don't know what a no shit handle is, you've never driven somebody where you've needed one. Just saying. Alright, I need to get my controller out. We're going to do this very gingerly here. Given the amount of horsepower we're dealing with, I'm just going to gently apply the throttle. We got plenty of runway. $120, $130, $140. I just now applied full throttle. The $170, $180, $190. Hey, we broke 200. $210, $219. $219. That's not too shabby. Now that was a good run. But then again, once I started using the controller for the speed track, I've been able to have a lot better control over it because with the keyboard, it's either off or on with the throttle, and you end up, especially with some of these cars that are super torquey or super, you know, muscly, you end up turning this thing into a squirrel and it just kind of spins around, doesn't do much. And you end up ass over tea kettle before you could even sneeze. But yeah, not too shabby. Let's take a look at the numbers, see where we ended up there. So, yeah, kind of got taken on this one, even in the condition it was in. But 98,336 for the buy price. You can see the condition bonus, performance parts, body and parts values to see how all that stuff factors in. So sale values 220,201 for a profit of 121,000. So yeah, we made a fair bit of money off this. This is a nice car. I had a lot of fun with this one actually. Pretty straightforward restoration, no major hiccups, and it handled really freaking well on the track. I'm happy. So let's go ahead and get this out of our sights. Get our money back out of it. And then some. Right, so. What's next on the docket here for the next episode here? We have Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. I have a feeling this one's going to be another one that's going to be pretty beefy to work on. They're moving that over to Bay 1 because, like I said, that's going to be the next thing we work on. And this one at least has all of its wheels, but it seems to be missing quite a bit else, but we'll figure that out in due time. Then we've got the Plymouth Roadrunner. This one's going to be one I'm really looking forward to. He's missing just about everything, so we're gonna be spending a lot of quality time with this one. And you know what the best part? Bench seats front and back, man, like it should be on these cars. I don't like bucket seats. And I know I'm a fat bastard, but I like bench seats on cars. I grew up with bench seats on cars. In fact, it was quite a long time before I even had a car that had bucket seats in it. But yeah. Move you into Bay 2. That's 2 episodes out. Yeah, this one's gonna need a lot of love. That's what we're here for. Next up, we've got the Plymouth Barracuda. Another classic. I didn't even keep the paint job. I don't know. Not a fan of the shade of green, but it fits the car. Alright, so you're going in position 2, because that's 3 episodes out. Man, I can't wait to work on this one. I've driven this car in a lot of video games, but, you know, never really taken one apart. Usually just see them at car shows once in a while, but yeah. Anyway. Don't need to go there. We need to go to parking. And we're going to grab the next vehicle off the list, which is the poor man's Bentley, aka the Chrysler 300C SRT8. We have just that and the Cordoba. That's going to be, that Cordoba is going to be the last episode we do, potentially. Actually, not potentially, it will be the last episode. Unless the makers of the game decide to crank out another DLC, which, you know, I'll be more than happy to cover that. I cleaned up nicely. Kinda digging the color, too. My car, in real life, actually both my vehicles are almost that color. But both of mine are Chevy. But you can't even get my Equinox in that color that I have, the blue color I've got. They did away with that color for GM, and I was like, you're serious, right? At least they did away with it for future vehicles. I was like, kind of bummed by that. Alright, so you're going in position 3. You're 4 episodes out. This one's got all of its wheels too. So we got lucky there. Alright, so that's a glimpse at our future here. As you can see, between these 4 and the one that's in parking, we're down to our last 5 episodes. And I'm going to be doing my best to try to get these all done before I start working, which is on September 5th. For those who don't know or were watching the other videos, I got a new job finally after having a job for several months, and I start a little over a week. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell thing if you want the alerts for any new streams or videos that come out, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.